Greetings, earthly beings. It's Carla. I am here in my backyard in Brooklyn today for a special grilling episode of That Sounds So Good. Today, I am making spice crusted pork spare ribs. They are delicious and porky and spicy and smoky. And more importantly, they're gonna change the way that you think about grilling or barbecuing ribs. This is not the low and slow, wrapped in foil, super saucy method that you might have done before. We're also not gonna go super high heat, flames shooting all over the place, pork spitting down on the thing and flaring up. Today we're gonna go somewhere in the middle. This is like your meandering, beautiful, scenic drive. It doesn't take all day to get there, but it didn't go by too fast. The ribs at the end are going to be caramelized, toasty, chewy, pulling them off the rib bone because we were born with teeth and we're here to use them. So please join me on a medium high, but extra hot episode of That Sounds So Good, starring my little friend, the spare rib. First thing you want to do is get yourself a couple of really pretty racks of spare ribs. I'm using St. Louis style ribs. You can definitely use regular spare ribs. They're gonna have an extra piece of meat up at the top. They will work. Country style ribs will also work. Baby back ribs will also work. But before I do anything with them, I am gonna make the spice rub. This is super straightforward mix of coriander and black peppercorns and red chili flake. The way that I thought about this spice rub is that the coriander is bringing kind of like a bright, zesty, citrusy, kind of a high note flavor. I have more citrus, lemon peel, and heat coming from the black peppercorn, and then the red chili flake is just spice. So if you wanted to swap out and had something like cayenne instead of red chili flakes and fennel seed instead of coriander, go for it. I've got a spice grinder. You can also do this in a mortar and pestle. I like leaving some texture to the spices so that they have texture and crunch in the finished grilled ribs. They'll get crispy and brown while they're cooking. So just don't go to dust, is all I'm saying. That's it. Delish. Super lemony. Very bright. This is all great make-ahead stuff. You can spice up the ribs 2 or 3 days before you're planning to grill. And I'm going to cut them off this slab. Each slab of spare ribs is gonna have 12, 13 ribs in it, which is great. Cutting them individually is gonna make it really easy to handle them on the grill. And then they're kind of already in individual portions. If you are in any way intimidated by the idea of having to cut these into ribs, just ask your butcher to do it for you. They 100% will. If you're buying ribs that have already been cut into individual ribs, you're looking for about 6 pounds total. The way to do it, super easy. Just find the spot in between the 2 bones and put your knife right in there and go straight down. Sometimes the bones are on a little bit of an angle, but you'll find it as you're dragging your knife through. As a summer baby and a fire sign and a full-blooded Italian, I do love fire. And I love fire in the winter. Like, it's nice to be in front of a fireplace, but I really, really look forward to cooking outside in the spring. And actually, for people who live in this Northeast or any place that has seasons, summer is a terrible time to be grilling. Just absolutely the worst. Spring, fall, early winter, that's when you want to be grilling. It gets too hot. And we're all out there trying to grill at Labor Day. It's too hot. Should be grilling right now. Yeah, I love to play with fire. When I was a kid, I liked to play with candles. I still do. My children, whenever it's outdoor grilling season, even when they were little, I would have them come out here and hang out with me. And on occasion, play with fire. I did. There's a fire extinguisher right down there, but I did let my children play with fire. I actually used to give this to the children, and I would put it on the ground and I would let them shovel coals out of the fire and put it in there. I feel like they need to learn one way or another. It's a good way to get them to hang out with me. And it's a good way to get your child like off a screen by telling them that if they hang out with you while you're cooking, they can play with fire. Super effective. Okay. Gorgeous and beautiful. Before I even put the dry spices on, I'm gonna season the ribs all over with salt. And I'm following approximately my teaspoon per pound and like a little bit more so that these are super seasoned. These are beautiful and coated with the salt. I always like salting separately just to make sure that it really got everywhere, doesn't get brushed away with the spices. This is an awesome rub for any pork. You could use it on pork chops if you wanted to. I also think it would be great on lamb chops, beef ribs, very all-purpose. Okay. Ooh, cherry blossom fell onto my pork ribs. That's what happens when you cook in nature. Better a cherry blossom than a bird blossom. People always talk about grilling outside as like, oh, your kitchen won't get smoky and you won't like get, it's not really about like, oh, sure, my kitchen's not getting smoky, but that's besides the point. I'm outdoors. I'm like, this is the most elemental, essential, primal, rewarding, fun way to cook. It's the best. Outdoor kitchens. It's like, this is the dream. Outdoor kitchen, outdoor shower. The dream. I'm gonna drizzle. This little bit of oil will just help coat everything and will help keep the spices adhered. And then I really won't need any more cooking fat at all during the cooking process. So I'm just turning those over so that they're coated lightly and shined up. These look beautiful, glossy, crusted, spicy, meaty. They already look juicy. I'm gonna let these sit for a couple of hours before I get cracking. In the meantime, I'm gonna make sure that my fire is exactly where I want it to be, and I'm just gonna kind of turn up the heat, if you know what I mean. This method for cooking ribs is not a scorch and burn, and it is not a low and slow. It is right in the middle. I realize this setup that I have going here today is not maybe typical, but the way that I'm going to set up the coals will apply to any grill that you are grilling on. We want medium direct heat, and if you need any kind of a primer on how to set up your charcoal grill, watch the video that I already did on that, and it is very straightforward and we'll show you exactly how to do it. So I have a beautiful big bed of coals back here, and I'm just gonna position them directly underneath where I'm setting up my grill so that I have direct heat. I love cooking over medium because it gives me time to like actually cook, enjoy the process of cooking, not burn my food, be able to watch my food transforming, get to see all the sizzles, the browning, the caramelizations. And also, we're cooking outside. We're gonna be in nature. This is when you commune with nature and get touched by the fire gods. I can replenish as needed as I go. Woo! Hot, very hot, super hot. But as long as I can hold my hand over the fire for about 4 seconds, 6 inches above, without burning a hair or getting a blister, that's medium hot. Let's get some ribs on the grill. My grill grates are heated up. They are clean. We have medium heat, and that's all that's needed. The sizzling combined with the bird chirping. Does it get better? So I'm gonna turn these quite often while they're cooking, about 3 or 4 minutes, or anytime I see fat dripping down or I get a flare up. So it doesn't really matter which side I put down first, but you'll get a little bit of better connection doing the convex. The outer curve of the rib is just gonna make better contact, so you can start there. It really doesn't matter. Wow. Sorry, I just went to exit 97, Rib Reverie, right by River of Ribs. Beautiful place. Trickling stream, fluttering breeze, a couple of ducks. Medium hot grilling is so perfect for fatty cuts of meat like pork chops and pork shoulder, lamb shoulder, because it's slow enough to really let all of the fat inside of the protein start to render and melt and caramelize, and gives it that time. If I was over very high heat, what would be happening right now is there would just be a ton of fat melting at once. That fat would be hitting the coals. That would be causing flare-ups. The flare-ups would cause charring. Then you get this bitter flavor. Your meat's not cooked all the way through. So going slow, turning frequently, I'm gonna watch this crust like gradually build up on the ribs without having any of the freak out. I can't tell you how many other people's barbecues I've gone to and just watch people put down like a whole brisket on a ripping hot grill, and then just the whole thing bursts into flames. That's not what you want. You want to like hang, get a beverage, listen to some music, smell your things smelling, go on the journey with your ribs, and like enjoy this process. Enjoy being where you are. Enjoy watching what you're looking at, and also give yourself the time. Pork, porky, 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 river, pork, porky all the day. A pork, porky in my porky river. Oh, these look done. 30 minutes has elapsed. Look at that caramelization. Look at that roasty, toasty. Look at that rendered fat. Oof. Mmm. Juices. Toasty, roasty, fatty, spicy, ribby, rivulets. It's not the lowest and the slowest, but I've always been a medium. Really, when in doubt. So these are gonna have a texture similar to the way the rib bone feels when you're eating a pork rib chop and you have finished and you've got that ribby left. You're getting that, but you're getting it all over. Oh my God, absolutely magical platter o' ribs. I cannot wait to eat them. Welcome to Rib River. I think you ordered the Rib Reverie.
I think I did too. I'm gonna take this one.
I knew you would just get the chonkiest, boy. Hold on, can I have one too?
It's so juicy. There's like juice coming off.
Exactly. Rib River. So, you're a real ribman. Cosmo is the person at the table who we have to like take the naked bone away from, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I like to chew on the little extra bits.
You like to chew the fat a little bit.
They don't understand.
Dude, Rib River, sail away with me. You know what I mean?
I'd love to. Hit that like button, subscribe, turn on the notifications, do a comment saying how great the ribs were when you made them.
We love a comment.
Smash it.
Every new subscriber, we give this kid a rib.
Subscribe.
Please do.